Sorry about that. So, for those whom I haven't had a chance to connect with, I've been in the field of information security for 15 years, and I've been in a different role, including security operations, penetration testing, cloud security review, security architect. So you name it, except for OT security. That's the field I don't have any knowledge about. But yesterday there was a presentation from Prashant. I don't know if he's in the room, but that was an impressive presentation. So since the hype began in November 2022 with ChatGPT, it also caught my attention, and I started my journey about learning AI. How does it work? What are the security risks that are associated with AI systems? And what you can do to prevent them. So today my topic is about one aspect of AI, which is shadow AI. But before I dive into the topic of shadow AI, I would like to briefly touch upon shadow IT. Now, most of you have already heard about shadow IT, but I still want to go through shadow IT and touch upon the definition of shadow IT, just to understand what are the risks associated with shadow IT, so that we can understand what's going on with shadow AI. It is described as unauthorized hardware, software, or cloud service used by employees or department within an organization without the formal review or approval by the IT department. Uh, if you take an example of your USB stick, which if you plug it into your work computer, that would be considered an example of shadow IT. If you're using Dropbox to copy work-related data, and so that you can work on those files from home, that would be considered as an example of shadow IT. Now, for those who doesn't know about Okta's incident in 2023, that's a perfect example of shadow IT because the cyber criminals were able to get access to HTTP archive, which you normally provide to technical support team for them to troubleshoot what's going on, whether it's the problem on the customer's network or whether it's the problem on their side. So the attackers were able to get access to Okta's customer support system, and they were able to get HTTP archive, which contains sensitive information like session tokens or cookies, which they were able to leverage and impersonate as Okta's client. And when Okta conducted their investigation, they found out that one of their employees used a Google account to check his email on the work computer. Now, there is no harm if you're using your work computer to check your emails. Every organization have different policy, different approach about it. I've seen many organizations which allows you to check your emails on work computer. But what happened here is that the Okta employee signed into the Google account, and later after that, he might have signed into Okta's customer support system, and when he entered the credentials, it got synchronized to his Google account. And all the defenses that Okta put in to protect its system, their network, it became useless because a hacker only had to compromise the user personal account. So that's how they got into it. Uh, they got into Okta's customer support system. Now, if I go before pandemic, this was a very common scenario. You must have heard about these stories as well, that employees emailing themselves the work-related files to their personal inbox so that they can work from home because remote connectivity wasn't an option at that time. Or even if remote work was available, It was only available to few executives or people, those who are out in the field. It was pretty limited to a few executives. Now, when employees use their personal email to uh, send the work related files via email, that's considered an example of shadow IT. And if I take my own example, I have a child who is 2.5 years old, and his mom has set a fixed time for screen time. He can only watch videos during dinner because that makes it easy to feed him and finish the dinner early. One day he came back from daycare and I was resting on my couch in the living room. He might have asked his mom for screen time, and the obvious answer was no. So he came to me with his cute little babble and asked for his phone. And how could I deny that? I said, yes, you can have my phone. After some time, when my wife arrived into the living room, she saw what's going on. And guess who faced the consequences? So if a child can think about this, look at his creativity. If he can figure out the workaround, then what an adult can do at work. Now, you could argue that you cannot compare a 2.5 year child with an adult who is grown up, who knows what's good, what's bad. But here's the, here's the question somebody asked on Reddit. What was the worst case of shadow IT or the biggest problem caused by shadow IT you have encountered during your work? There are a number of responses, but I have picked up some interesting one. Had a developer build a bunch of cloud infrastructure in their personal Azure account, which built their corporate credit card. Developer leaves, credit card is canceled, and 30 days later, so is the infrastructure. The next example, in the earlier days of Microsoft Canning, a user took it upon herself to set up her own canning under the company name domain, then left the company. That was a pain to get fixed. Now, the employee didn't mean any harm there, but what she didn't know about it, the day when she leaves the organization or if she moves to another role, that could be a problematic then. The next one is my personal favorite, public-facing website sitting under an employee's desk with a public IP address. Wow. A group working in the lab decided it was easier to scan up a local Windows domain than follow corporate standards and services. Domain controller was compromised via Bluekeep, and attackers can use their domain credentials to move laterally. Years ago, a then acquaintance who worked at a medical facility said that she and her colleagues shared patient records via Dropbox. And that's an example I gave you earlier about Dropbox. She used Dropbox because it was much easier than the original patient record software. She also added that it was good because it also worked on their private home computers. So shadow IT is around. That's a human behavior that if they have to do a job, and if there is a alternative way of doing something that's easier, people would go for it. So shadow AI is no different, except it is far worse than shadow IT because there are countless of AI applications being built every single day. You have the AI application that can summarize your conversation. It can summarize the report for you. It can summarize the data set for you. It can do sentiment analysis. There are multiple use cases of AI. And These are being adopted by users rapidly, which is again making it into the workplace, which obviously boosts productivity, but it is equally risky. Now, when ChatGPT was launched, it took only 5 days to reach 1 million users, and that was the article published on Forbes. Imagine the Imagine that in such a short amount of time, no other application on the internet has ever seen an organic growth in just 5 days. But ChatGPT, it took like just 5 days to reach 1 million users. So what's driving shadow AI? The first driver is accessibility of tools. You have got a bunch of tools that are available for free, or it has a low subscription cost. It doesn't require any setup or minimal setup. If you think back to Shadow IT, if you want to use an application which you like, then there may be some barriers which your employees may have to pass. For example, an application might require admin permission, and not every user gets the admin permission. Or the application might require communication on non-standard port like 543 or 112. These ports are not generally whitelisted on firewall, so they would have to put a request and then provide justification why they need to open the port, and that's how it can be caught. But with Shadow AI, that's not the case. It's communicating over HTTPS, and that's allowed in the organization. The other driver is AI for everyone. You don't need to be a technical geek to deploy an AI tool. With a little technical knowledge, or even if you don't have one, you can still use AI tool. For example, marketing analyst. She can take the customer purchase history, put it into ChatGPT, and return the result on high value customers. Um, I saw a video 2 weeks ago, which was posted by a real estate investor in Alberta, and he was talking about ChatGPT bot, that he created a ChatGPT bot using 2 years of historical data. And once the bot was trained, all he had to do was ask a question, build a precast building model over 160,000 square feet, with 23 units, uh, 3 stories high, and ChatGPT was able to provide everything, the project schedule, the development plan, and everything. And he mentioned that it used to take me 2 to 3 days, and obviously some money was also involved here to pay the expert. But with ChatGPT, he was able to do it within 2 to 3 hours. The next driver is pressure to innovate. The drive to innovate often leads employers to bypass IT governance. If I think about an example, there was a presentation yesterday on responsible AI use, where Seth mentioned about walking up to a booth to understand how the product is powered by AI, but the sales representative didn't know that what's the use of AI in that tool, and the response was, everybody is following AI, so we are also putting the word AI to sell our product. That's about it. But if you need more details, you can leave your contact, and I can follow up on that. And I witnessed that firsthand when I was at the Upper Bound conference this year, which happens in Edmonton. Is the AI conference, and there were many AI experts and leaders there who were sharing about their knowledge, their stories on how their organizations are leveraging AI to automate the task. But during the Q&A session, it really highlighted the challenge that people didn't know where to start, but they still want to follow the trend. They still want to deploy AI and make use of it, regardless of what use case they are trying to solve or what risks they will be exposed to. Um, the next driver is gaps in organizational AI strategy. So if you don't have an organizational AI strategy, then this is what shadow AI thrives on. Because if you don't have one, your employees wouldn't know where to start, what AI tools are approved by the organization, what kind of AI tools you can use. So these are some of the drivers of shadow AI. But what's the harm if an employee is just trying to boost productivity and yield better output in a short amount of time? The problem is the data leaks. It's it's the amount of data that's being uploaded to AI platform, and you know about it. You already know about it. A lot of people are using AI tools, but it's not just the amount of data that's been uploaded. It's the number of users that are uploading the data. Because if I go back to my previous example of ChatGPT, within 5 days, 1 million users started using ChatGPT. I don't know what's the number right now, but it's the volume as well. And to make it further worse, the AI self-learning capability is reading in your data. It's training itself on your prompts. So that's the problem here. The next risk is regulatory compliance risk. All these frameworks that you have heard about, PCI, DSS, and SOC 2, HIPAA, GDPR, these are not the frameworks that were built for AI. AI wasn't there when these frameworks there. As a matter of fact, AI sidesteps these frameworks. So if there is a breach due to shadow AI of an European citizen, then you could get fined up to 4% of the global revenue. If there is a breach of PCI DSS, then it could cause a reputational damage, financial damage, and so on. Unauthorized AI influencing business decision. So you know about the AI hallucination, and we saw a couple of examples last year. There was a story on CTV News where a British Columbia lawyer cited two cases that were generated on ChatGPT, and when it was found out that it's AI hallucination, he was ordered to pay the fine to compensate for the time that was took by defense counsel to review those cases. And another similar case was happened in Manhattan. And how many of you heard about the Air Canada chatbot incident? So that's again another example of AI hallucination. Another risk is security vulnerabilities. You don't know who is uploading the model. You're just downloading the model, running it in your environment. But there is a possibility an attacker might insert a malicious piece of code, and you know what? Your environment can be compromised. Now, after that, I know about Hugging Face that they introduced Clam AV scan. I don't know how effective is that, but they have introduced Clam AV scan, and then they also introduced the Pickle module scan. But there are other platforms out there. You can also download the models from GitHub. You don't know from where your users are downloading the LLM models or machine learning models. And the last but not the least, operational risk. Think about agentic AI. If you're using agentic AI to automate high-risk tasks such as loan approval, one single hallucination and it could cause severe business impact. So with shadow AI, what can you do about it? Now, I was thinking about going through the points and talk about what can you do. But this morning, when I woke up and I was reviewing the presentation, I thought about making it a little bit exciting. So I'll be doing an exercise here, for which I'm gonna need 3 volunteers. Anybody? I need somebody from the front row. So I already know this guy because we work at the same company. What do you see in front of you? It's a loony, but what you don't know about it is that it has a misprint caused by a printing error at Royal Canadian Mint, and that's why it has a value in thousands. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I've got four envelopes here. Shuffle it a little bit. Now you don't know which envelope has the coin. What I want you to do is take 2 envelopes, give 2 envelopes to the person on your right and 2 on the left. No, sorry, what's your name? Evan. So does anybody want to take a guess who has the envelope with the coin? Evan or Bart? Just take a guess. There is no penalty. Evan. Evan. Do you want to check your envelope? I hope you don't have the coin because I have the script in my mind. And I don't want to mess up with it. So it's Bart. Now, what if I had put a camera that was recording everything, and if you were able to see everything on the screen here, then you would have probably figured out that who has the coin now. So this is what you need to do first. You need to get the visibility into your environment. You need to start uh, identifying what AI tools are being used by your organization. And I won't recommend you to buy some fancy tool to figure out who is using what. You can monitor DNS queries if you have got the web gateway like Zscaler, Cloudflare, Netscope. That can also give you an insight. You just have to put a filter on URL category and say that you need the list of all the Gen AI application, all the traffic that's into Gen AI applications. Or you could monitor API calls, SaaS security posture management if you have Defender for Cloud App. That can also give you a visibility into what kind of AI tools are being used. Now, after you have identified which AI applications are being used, coming back to the real world example, we know that Evan and Bart are the two only person who could have the coin. Similarly, with Shadow AI, you need to start building an AI inventory. And the reason it's important is it would help you identify the risk that your organization could be exposed to. Because if you are let's say if you are a developer company and you see a lot of traffic going to Claude AI, then the possibility is that your developers are using Claude AI tool to help them with writing the code, and there is a possibility that they might be uploading proprietary code on there. So, Bart, since you have the coin here, I would like to move on to the next step. Take any person on your right hand side and give the coin to that person, but that person should not be wearing glasses. Thank you, Bart. Can I get your name, please? Nicholas. So Nicholas has a coin, but does anybody know what I did here? I've given an instruction to Bart that he can give the coin to anybody, but he should not be wearing a glasses. So with Shadow AI, you need to define your AI usage policy. You need to define that if you want to use AI tools, what kind of AI tools they can upload, what kind of sensitive information you can upload there. These are the list of approved AI tools that they can use. And if you don't happen to have one, you can either use ChatGPT or Copilot to build a template for you, or there is a website which has Gen AI usage policy generator. It asks you a couple of basic questions. For example, where is your organization in its AI implementation journey? How strict would you like your policy to be? What use cases do you want to support, such as code generation and review, customer support, content creation, data analysis, and what kind of tone would you like to set in your policy? There is one more question here. Do you have any of the following resources, such as a formal process for AI application intake, prompt library, approved application list? And that's about it. It would generate it would give you a template which you can use to start building your AI usage policy. All right, so Nicholas, I'm gonna need my coin back. Okay, before you give the coin back to me, I want to tell you the truth. I just used a social engineering technique to trick those guys into believing, and not just those guys, but the rest of the class get there is a misprint. It's not its value is not worth in thousands. It's just a dollar. Do you still want to keep the coin?
You can have it back.
Okay. And before you give it back to me, I want to tell you how important this coin is for me. This is the only coin that I've got in my wallet, which I use to unlock grocery cart. I don't keep cash. And if you don't return it back to me, then what would happen is that I might have to lift heavy hand cart, and it might sprain my arm muscles. So I give you two options. Either I walk up there, you throw the coin at me. The chances are that I might not be able to catch the coin. It drops on the floor, rolls under the table, and things do happen. Mysterious power come into play. When small objects, when it goes under the sofa, they are nowhere to be found. So it could be a possibility here. Or you can keep it in the envelope for me and give it back to me safely.
I guess I'll put it in the envelope.
Thank you. So does anybody want to take a guess what security control it translates to? Closer. All right. So it's security education and awareness training. I told Nicholas that how important this coin is for me. And you could do the same in your organization. You have to let the employees know. Please don't have the simple training. You should not be clicking on anything that you don't recognize. If you let your employees know about the impact, what's the importance of this data for the organization, what would happen if uh, if your organization is breached and your data is exposed? So that equates to security education and awareness training. And believe me, when when you let your employees know about the importance of the data, and how can you safely handle it, just like Nicholas did that for me. He safely put it in the envelope and returned it back to me. Your employees, most of your employees would be following that. The next step is, I know that this coin is very important for me, so I can put an imaginary cape around it and put it safely back in my pocket so that I don't lose it. And this equates to cloud native application protection platform if you already happen to have one. If you're deploying an AI model in your environment, use Defender, or if you're using the SaaS security posture management offered by AWS, look at the recommendations that are provided by them and start to work on it or start to secure it. A simple example would be S3 bucket. If it's exposed on the internet, make sure that you don't have it exposed on the internet. If there is no role-based access control, then you need to enforce role-based access control. Now, the last thing that you can do is, I've got 4 envelopes. It would be easier for me to identify which envelope has the coin if I mark it, and that translates to data classification. You need to start classifying your data and use data security posture management, because that would help you identify what's the sensitive information here and what do you need to focus on. So I like to categorize AI security risk into 2 categories. One is the AI infrastructure risk, which I just talked about. You need to make sure that the infrastructure that's hosting AI workloads, they are protected. If you don't have a SaaS security posture management, refer to the vendor documentation and follow their security best practices. Uh, uh, I won't be focusing too much on AI infrastructure risks because these are the risks already known. I would like to focus more on native AI risks such as prompt injection, system prompt leakage, topic abuse, or topic output. And if you're the security architect or a security person who has been tasked to secure the AI system, you need to start looking into AI security platform. Now, I must say, I've looked into a couple of vendors who provide AI security platform, but they are still in their infancy stage. There is not one single solution that can protect you against all AI security risks. But these are the things that you need to evaluate depending on what kind of AI risk that is more applicable to your organization, to your data. So some of the things that you can look for is whether the AI security platform can enforce an organization-wide acceptable use policy. If your organization doesn't want to doesn't want your employee to use ChatGPT and they have Copilot as the approved tool, what you can do is using Microsoft Defender for Cloud App in conjunction with Defender for Endpoint, you can set a policy and say that anybody who visits ChatGPT or any other Gen AI application, bring up a prompt and say that Copilot is the approved AI tool. So you need to evaluate when you're evaluating AI security platform, see what is your acceptable use policy and whether that tool can help you enforce that. The second thing that you need to evaluate is the guardrails. Now, if if you host your model in Azure, then Azure has got Azure Content Safety. That's the guardrails which you can implement to prevent against prompt injection and all the AI native risk. Or if you have the Gen AI application deployed in Databricks, then you can use Mosaic security. Mosaic Secure Gateway. Sorry, I forgot the last name, but it's called Mosaic. On top of that, the LLM models also provide some guardrails. For example, if you're using Llama model, then it has Llama guardrail that you can implement to prevent against prompt injection. But depending on your security requirements, it might be possible that as your AI content safety or Mosaic guardrail may not meet your requirements. So when you're evaluating your AI security platform, check for the requirements if it can allow for topic moderation. For example, you don't want your users to be asking questions about financial performances or PII data. Is there a way you can enforce topic moderation in AI security platform? The third thing you might need to consider is whether the AI security platform can enforce REC security. Now, this feature is still in the early phase, as I know. You cannot enforce authorization at the database level, at the vector database. So far, I know that there is a Pinecone database which allows you to enforce authorization, but it's not too mature right now. So there are two approaches that are offered by AI security platform vendor. One is that you enrich your embeddings with metadata. So when application is pulling the data, it looks at the metadata. It looks at in the metadata. If it looks at the data owner information, and depending on that, it makes a decision whether the user is allowed to retrieve that content or not. And the other approach is RAG security gateway. I was just reading about it. There is one vendor who offers RAG security gateway. I think it was AWS Guardrail, Bedrock Rail. I've got it in my next slide. So RAG secure gateway, it sits between your LLM model and the front-end interface that's exposed to the user. And whenever user submits a prompt, it would check for the authorization, whether the user is authorized to access the content or not. You also need to consider whether the AI security platform can perform model scanning, and if it has got AI usage report, which you can present it to your executive and give the numbers on how many AI tools are being used and what kind of data are being uploaded there. These are some of the vendors which I've been able to find that offer AI security platform capabilities. Now, I would like to reiterate that none of these vendors offer a solution that has all the capabilities. Let's get here. So it totally depends on your organization need. What are you trying to prevent? It depends on the use case here. So I'd like to wrap up my presentation here by saying that shadow AI is already happening. Start with the visibility. See what applications are being used, because that would help you understand what kind of security tools that you need. What's the level of tone that you are going to set in your acceptable usage policy? At this moment, if you don't have the budget for securing AI, you can leverage the existing tools and policies you already have in place. Build control that support safe innovation, and I'm a big fan of this statement here. You don't want to be a roadblock in the path of innovation. If you have a if you get a request from the business, get this the AI tool that they want to use, understand the use case, and if you happen to find a risk, explain the risk that's available, and see what you can offer to protect against the risk, and align your shadow AI response, which I just mentioned, according to the enterprise risk posture. You don't have to be too strict about, hey, you cannot upload your PII data at all. First, understand the risk involved here, how your organization can be impacted. Based on that, you make a recommendation whether if it can be mitigated by implementing a security control, or you just don't feel secure enough, you don't feel comfortable enough for the usage of that particular AI application. So I'm going to open up the floor for questions and answers if you have got any. If not, then I'm around the rest of the day, and here is my LinkedIn profile if you would like to connect with me on LinkedIn. Thank you.